Hi, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a video basically because I've done videos on codependency in the past and toxic people and healing childhood trauma and blah blah blah, all stuff I've learned and want to spit back out. But I want to do a video on relationships and how when you've had like childhood trauma, it can affect your ability in relationships to connect to other people, and this level, if you have like CPTSD or kind of childhood trauma in general, you can have this level of false friendships from a place of where you've in the past suppressed your needs because you felt you had to. And I always think it's really helpful to find reasons why people get like that. Like if you've had a parent or whatever that has told you that your needs aren't what they should be, you're not enough, you internalize the fact you're not enough if you're not academic, or you have people reject you that you haven't healed from, you're too much if you get bullied for being an outspoken person or whatever, you can suppress your natural healthy instincts because you have unresolved trauma, or maybe it kind of is healthy to a level so you don't kind of blow up at people, or you don't kind of open wounds further than they need to be opened up and kind of continue down a bad train to continue getting yourself in bad situations. But at the same time, you might not be being fully authentic with your preferences, with your needs. Especially needs is a massive thing. I feel like if you haven't been in touch with your needs, I actually love Reiki for meeting your needs, honestly. Like things like Reiki videos are really like doing stuff for me at the moment. I think it's like a progressive thing, it gets better, that and praying. Anyway, yeah, I think meeting your needs, you don't tend to do that through early relationships, I found. Or you do, but you do this thing which in a video I've seen is referred to as crap fit, where you basically just have access to some people and you kind of fit yourself, you kind of suppress sides of yourself. I think this is different. I'm noticing definitely the differences between things like codependency and, let's just refer to this as the difference between fitting yourself to something where you're jeopardizing your morals and and making compromises in a relationship to create the healthiness and the functionality of a situation. You know, if you have like a partnership or relationship, I mean, and you're kind of figuring out who's doing chores and stuff, and you compromise on, you know, you might not want to do the washing up, but you decide to do that because it helps out. That's a compromise. A, you know, degradation of yourself is allowing someone to be rude to you and allowing them to be your friend when they don't treat you with respect. Like, that's the difference. So yeah, like from what I've seen, the way to heal this and like address it is basically knowing yourself and specifying what you want through life. Like if you're going to a certain place, to specify, you know, don't be easygoing about stuff, because it's really easy to be easygoing if you have this kind of trauma. You may have other friends that are the same, which is kind of fine. I'm not saying you have to like ditch all these friends, but I'm saying like to have authentic relationships, you have to be able to to be assertive about what your preferences are. Like, you know, as much as people believe that they're easygoing, people have so many beliefs and limiting beliefs about themselves. If you do grow up with childhood trauma and like you're told all this stuff about you, even through like, you know, school institutions and stuff, because you're put in this like box of like a student or whatever, you can have these limiting beliefs about yourself that are not working at your optimal level, especially through relationships and stuff. So you might seek out someone. I noticed for ages I was craving this level of relationship, which I realised was literally from a level of people, you know, suppressing their inner selves and trying to fit this student box. Like honestly, I figured it out later, like that was literally what I was looking for in a relationship, that very thing. If I was like, you know, I was like, oh, like, because I had friends in school that did that, I was like, oh, I need to fill this box or whatever, and it's just so, it's so dysfunctional. So luckily I didn't find those people necessarily, but I did, but I do have other friends that have like other toxic traits. But it's like, yeah, you have to know yourself to be able to to assert yourself, and you have to have confidence in yourself, and that's something that's really difficult as well if you don't have confidence in your mindset or in the people that you spend time with to be able to assert yourself, because some people do break you down over time as well. If you do spend time with certain people, they progressively reduce your self-esteem. They try and condition you into being something that is a tool for them, like narcissistic extension, and you can lose yourself in it, and it's really sad, especially when people, especially through narcissistic styles of relationships, you can have like periods or long periods of love bombing, and then you can they can want to discard you, so they kind of pull you through this kind of inevitable like discard phase. Or even people that have attachment problems and stuff, they can kind of become avoidant, or they can do things that sabotage the relationship for their own reasons. But yeah, like apparently it's good to go to groups where there's no obligation for friendship. You're not going there for necessarily friendship, but for a reason there where you can just turn up and leave. And I love like meet up groups for this reason, which I don't really do much anymore, but I should, because I went to a group recently and it was so cliquey. Like, it was, I don't even think it was that cliquey, but there was like a girl in there and it was like, she was such a bully. Like, I literally just, I left that group, so I just didn't want to be in it. Because the other girls weren't that nice either, and they just kind of like let it happen. I was like, I haven't got any respect for any of you. So yeah, you have to know yourself, and you have to be able to, yeah, like assert what you want. Learn to say no to things. That's such a massive like cliche, I think, now, is everyone says you need to learn to say no. Learn to say yes, and stop doing things that you don't want to do. Obviously this was within reason. People have to go to like workplaces, but there is always the option of like finding a new job, you know, finding a new school, hanging out with new people. There is always choice. Something I saw yesterday or today, which was really good for me, was it's never too late. I'm only 24, but it's never too late to make new friends. It's never too late to move house. It's never too late to change communities. It's never too late to find your dream career. It's never too late to fulfill your dreams, basically, to fulfill your goals, to create new goals. You know, there's so much within us that God puts in, but I'm not going to get like overly religious in this video. But yeah, I think it's so important. I'm gonna like continue to make videos as this kind of stuff happens for me, because I am trying to do that myself. I just think the more I get to grips with my issues that I've had, but everyone does go through a process at the end of the day. I've done a couple of videos on, I've looked at a couple of things on like relationships, and I think authenticity is like so important. Finding values that align with each other is really important in like romantic relationships as well, because sometimes you can be seeking out a romantic relationship and like put too much pressure on your friends, which is another thing. But yeah, if you have values that align, it's kind of quite, the longevity of it is more going to be better than just physical attraction, because physical attraction is really important. And I did a video recently called "Does This Make Me a Whore?", which I questioned the title of after, but I just left it up. Where I just talk about, it's kind of just like saying like some people find physical attraction more important than money and kind of like financial success, and some people find financial success more important than looks, and I think both are important, but also values. I've definitely noticed this in relationships I've had in the past. It's literally been solely on physical attraction, and kind of literally physical attraction basically. But I was younger, and kind of experimentation and naivety basically, which is why a couple of them turned extremely toxic. And other ones also not toxic. I'm also like an alpha female, and I think I literally had like boyfriends that were like low-key toxic, because apparently they're attracted to alpha females, and then it becomes a sort of like power struggle. So I think that is an issue I've had in the past. So noted. But yeah, you have to have like aligning values. I think it's kind of the truth of friendships, but I'm still working that out. But especially with romantic relationships, if you have values, like work out what your values are. I did a video on values, but like if your value and your lifestyle, but I think that kind of goes with something else. But if your values are like, I want to be, your lifestyle's important as well. But if your values are like, I want to feel, just whatever your values are. I don't want to talk about values now because it will just go on forever, but I'm gonna let it be there. Thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you soon.